Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and this is the bottom of a game board box, and the material is sturdy and good for a base for a project. The other day I whacked open the top of this box to make a project. So what we want to do is we want to start out by trying to resource this piece. And I know you guys have game board boxes around. Like you have a Scrabble that's missing pieces or something. Now to get my straight edges, oops, knocking stuff down. Now that I have that, I'm going to get this, oops. And I'm just going to come around here, box this up a little bit. I got some weird, because my blade's not sharp. Not that ain't cutting shit, hold on. I don't like using smaller knives to cut stuff like this, but sometimes it just works better. Because I never remember to buy those blades replacements for those bigger knives. But I always have a bunch of these little knives that I've never snapped off if I need to cut anything. Okay, so now this should be a perfect 90 degrees all around. And I got a rough chunk there that I don't like on one side. But we probably only need about half of this for this project. But we're going to leave this here for now. I'm going to round my corners off. I'm just going to use a sharp pair of scissors to do that. This is just very dense, thick cardboard. If you've ever had one of these kind of game board boxes, I'm sure we all have something like this we can cut up. You could just use regular cardboard, I suppose. But I'm not sure it would have the lifespan of this. Okay. Let's bring this up so we can see what we're doing here. So what I want to make is like a ancient building that has survived on the surface of my futuristic world. So let's get some cardboard. I got a few slips of cardboard here. And what I want to do is I want to kind of find cardboard that has this way for the front, so I can have a door that swings up in it easier and use the cardboard itself as part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find these lines. See how you can see the line? And I'm going to use that to cut off a straight edge piece. Okay. Then let's see how big the front of my building is going to be. I actually think I know exactly what I'm going to do. Instead of aiming for the whole front of my building being this, I'm going to make it like a 3D compartment that comes outward, where the gate is. So we'll make it about, that's 1.5 inches. We'll make it about 7 inches wide. Okay. Oh, I'm dumb. That's 5.5 inches. I don't know what I'm doing. Whatever. I just work here. So then I want this to be sturdy. Do I have a pen? Oh, I think I took my pen outside and left it in my wife's car. Shit. I got markers. So I'm just going to cut 1 inch here. I'm going to do 1 inch on either side. Then I'm going to check my lengths to make sure it's good or close. 4 inches. It's really close, 4 inches. Good enough for government work. Now let's cut this inside portion out. You can go a little bit past because we're going to be reinforcing this anyways. Okay. Now I should be able to, in theory, have a good, strong I can't even think English. Doobly-doo. Frame made out of this. Alright, so let's put something around here to strengthen this up. But before we do that, let's just cut a little nick in there. And that's just so I can see where things are at. And let's get a piece of skewer. See if it fits in. It does. Okay. Something like that. Okay. All right. Now let's manufacture our door with that cutout piece. Where'd I put it? Oh, there it is. We'll manufacture our door out of that cutout piece. First thing we'll do is we will hack a little bit of that off. Like this. Okay. Make sure it fits up in there and still has some room, a little bit of a gap on the bottom. And then we're just going to want to cut a bit of a groove on the top here. Okay. You can just take that out. You're not going to see this part. If we do it right. If we do it right. Now, if I wasn't so low on sprues, I would try to do this in sprues, but I'm pretty low on sprues. Okay. I'm leaving that gap like that. Okay. Same thing on this side. Okay. All right, so now just get a little bit of glue there. And that gap at the top of the cardboard, we're going to shove that right in there like this. Try to get a good seated bond. Then on the back side, We're going to straighten that up a little bit. Just like that. Okay. Now let's cut a piece of cardstock and make a piece of door here so it looks cool. So this is, I don't know, 3.5 by 2.5. 3.5 by 2 3/4, whatever. So we want to cut a square, not a square, but you know, a squared piece with a knife that cuts cardboard, preferably. What was that height? 2 3/4. So we're going to do 2 inches. About like that. Okay. Something like that. Alright, I got a little glue down in there somehow. That was not good. Alright, so to make this work better, let's pull that off for a minute. Be careful. Give me what I want. Let's skim these doors a tiny bit. And don't worry, we'll fix that in a minute. So it's got some room to move around. It's got a little bit of play on each side. Okay. Sweet. We'll let that sit for a second. I'm going to put a really thin bead here. And I'm just going to use a piece of cardstock to smooth that so it doesn't burn my hand all up. Push that down into the gap. Okay, cool. Now, on the door itself, we want to add some strength there. You need to come down a little bit so that when it flips up, it doesn't stop you from closing it. Uh-oh. See what I did there? Went too far in. After I was just trying to push it up and pull it down to show you, it dried too quick. It's not the kind of repair you want to be doing right here, actually. Okay, gotta get that out of there. We just gotta... This will teach me to rush and not take my time. It won't teach me. Nothing ever does. All right, we gotta get a little bit more off there. Okay. It's gonna have to be good enough for government work because I'm not playing with that all day. It's snug as a bug in a rug, thug. Nice. A poet? I didn't even know it. If you're from the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. Well, I shouldn't say if you're from the 90s. If you were born in the 70s, you were an adult or a young teenager, or not, if you're a teenager or an adult. I don't even know what years I live in now. Okay, whatever. If you were born in the 70s, you're familiar with that at least. Maybe if you're a little bit older, but most new people probably don't say that, I'm guessing. Okay, now I'm going to clean this up. Just smoothing that down, getting that glue melted in place. Now where's that little panel I cut? Will it still fit after all that? No, going to need some choppage. A little more choppage. There we go. And a little bit along the top. That's a wonky spot there. Okay. Let's cut this in. Half at an angle. Like that. Get our little pieces in there. Pushing them up into the corners the best you can so there's a gap. And I did not do a good job. Something like that. Then any kind of circle you have of any little piece that's round. I have these things. Let's see if I can do it nicely. Dab of glue, yabba dabba glue. And that'll be the door to our compound. Okay. Now, I wanted this to be canted back a little bit, which will actually be nice. It'll work nice. So, the back of this is going to be open so I can attack it and get to it with my hands. So now let's cut some pieces to be the side walls. How tall is that? 4? Yep, 4 inches. So let's take our straight edge. Wait a minute, did I not cut a straight edge anywhere? I'm a crackhead. I swore I just cut a straight edge, but I did not. Okay, let's try it again. See if I can cut a straight edge. Somehow I did not do it. Okay. Let's cut a straight edge here. We'll go 4 inches. We could probably just use this piece here in general, I'm guessing. Just seeing at least 8 inches long. Yep, okay. We want it to be 4 inches tall. Now, there will be some slack left over because, in theory, and I say in theory, I could be wrong. These should now be 4x4 chunks. Because if I were to put that flush against there, it's 4 inches. But what I want to do is I want to cant that back a little bit. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to put these together like that. Now I'm going to cut an edge off at a little bit of an angle, like this. Just like that. And then I want to glue this onto my door like that. I'm getting as close to a 90 as I can. Okay. We'll do this side as well. And there will be a little bit of a spot at the top, like I was telling you, and that's okay. Let's get this on the base and bring it out towards the front. Oh, that's hot. Okay. Now that that's pretty sturdy, we'll eyeball it the best we can and get it on there. And you just kind of want to center it and push it back some. Okay. Just like that, dudes. Okay. Now, how are we going to make this stay up once it's in? Well, I had some excess pieces of this. Okay, so my thought is, if you want the door to stay up, you could do that, but that's not going to work. All right, that's not going to work at all. Okay, no problem. Easy fix. We'll get some pieces of straw and a sharp pair of scissors. Let's make smart choices here. Let's make sure this is all lined up. That piece is not going to be long enough for what I want anyways. Okay, we want this to go up underneath here, just like that, and we want to pull those out so they don't interfere with the door in any way. And that'll hold my door up if I need it held open for long periods of time. Oops. Okay. I'll lock that down a little bit. All right. Let's get up under there, and we'll just support those a little better. Like that. And so that this piece remains interesting, and we can use it as part of the other part of the build later. We'll cut it off long enough for what it needs to be, and we'll put something on the end cap here. So let me find something that I can put on there. We'll put a piece of straw in there, and we'll work it out to a bubble on the end. Just like that. And we'll try to straighten that out the best we can. Okay, and we'll leave that alone. And we can use that as an antenna or something on this project later that you pull off and holds the door open if need be, just like that. Okay, so let's pull that off for now. I'm going to stick this in something to dry and hope I don't forget about it. Now we got these pretty sturdy on here. I'm just going to get a little more glue on the top, just like that in the gap. I don't want this ever coming off. And then to dress that up a little bit and kind of make it a little interesting, on top of that, I'm going to cut a couple sturdifying pieces, about that long. I'm going to curve those around a little bit. I'm going to do something like that. And that's going to make it stay forever, I hope. All right, nice. All right, we need the top sorted out for this first part, but let's get some side walls going. So those walls were 4 inches tall. Let's see how long this piece is. This will be cutting it close. Let me see if I can find something a little bigger. All right. I'm eyeballing this, which is not wise. Let's hope this is 4 inches too. It looks close. Looks close for an eyeball. All right, so for each side of this, where we want this to come back some, we'll just set it there, and I'll make a little mark. Just like that. That should be good. Just go to the edge. My hands are shaking. Come on, y'all. It's too early in the day for that shit to start. And we'll come over here. I made a big mess. That's okay. Be all right. Okay. Okay. Then we'll take this piece here. We'll do something similar. We don't need to come all the way back, so I'm just going to cut out 2.5 inch or 2 inch-ish pieces. Ow. Because again, we don't need it to come all the way back. Dressing this place up will be probably super fun, is my guess. I'm doubting doing the roof will be that fun. Come on, get in there, you. All right. Just get it up to the edge there and push it into place. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means. This building's been through hell and back. All right. Should be fairly sturdy at this point. Let's sort out our roof. I don't plan on having the players come in here, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to have the roof playable, okay? So let me get a big piece of cardboard. That's pretty close. So to make this fit flush, all I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this upside down, grab my back piece and flush it out some. I don't care if the back of this is perfect or not. Okay. Let's try to flatten out the back of this a tiny bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we don't want it to look that junky. Much better. Okay. Then we'll snip off the front of this a little bit, straighten that out some. Okay. Lost my corner there. There we go. Something like that. We want this to be able to stay in place a little bit. And there's some easy ways to do that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a couple of these. Just like that. Need one more probably. Well, let's see if that fits there. No, we'll snip it off. Totally usable pieces. But check this out. Now that we know this fits here, and we want this stuff to sit snug, just grab it. Make sure it's where you want it to be. Draw a line there. Okay. Get this lined up on this side, because I'm a lefty. Draw a line there. Something like that. Something like that. Okay. We'll let those cool for a minute. We'll do something up in the front so we know it to be inside. It can come back a little bit. It's going to have some room to play, and that's all right. Okay. Now, if we set this on here, it should have some overhang like that. And then on these sides, we have a special opportunity here to make this cool. So let's get a piece of cardstock. We're going to cut 2 thin pieces like that. We're going to get a bead of glue. We're going to get that flush in that corner, just like that. Okay. And we're going to let that cool. We're going to do the same thing on this side over here. Just like that. Okay. Snippy, snippy. Snippy, snippy. Now we got to do something across the front there. We need something a little longer, so I'm going to use cardboard. I'm going to shove that up against there like that. Get it good and sturdy. I'm going to snippy that off. I'm going to snippy that off. In theory, this is now tight and in place. Let's dress up this edge so it looks a little better on the front. And it'll add us a bit of a railing to do that. Snippy. Snippy. Go to the center. Go to the center. Just like that. Okay. Take that off. Take that off. And this will be a good enough, sturdy enough situation. Now we have to dress this thing up. First, we know all the ground is littered in metal plates and garbage. So let's start there. start with the outside of the ground first. And we'll stick to that theme. Ow, my spleen. Okay. And then we want the building to look a little more interesting. Scrape off some glue. It's really boring and plain right now. And we need a way to open that door easily as well. So what we want to do is we want to get a handle on that door. I'm not sure how I want to do that just yet. That won't cut that, unfortunately. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of sprue here and make a handle so I can grab it easy. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting insides out. I'm going to let that settle for a second, and I'm going to leave it go. And that's going to be the way I open and close this when this dries. We lost our antenna piece, so we need a piece to mount that on the building so we don't lose that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these and make a little spacer. Just like that. I'm going to get this piece here, glue it onto my spacers. All my spacers are pieces of popsicle stick. I'm going to shove that on there like that. There's a lot of glue there. I'm going to twist it around and make sure I am seated very strongly so I can just throw my locking piece in there like that. And it looks like part of the build. All right, now let's pimp this thing a little bit more. Let's add some interesting features. We'll just put a thin line of this up here. To break up that kind of plain look. We'll do a little square. I don't know if we have to make it exactly a square, but we'll do this. We'll make a rectangle. Smaller rectangle. We'll snip that off. We'll glue that on there. Like that. We'll throw one of those on the side over here. Not bad. These aren't the exact same size, but no one will notice. If they do, hell with them. Okay. My garage door handle should be pretty dry. Yep, it is. We're going to pop that up into the open position for a minute. We're going to get a little super glue on here. We're going to mix that around and get that on there sturdy and good, so nothing comes apart. I should put a little baking soda on it, but I don't feel like getting baking soda everywhere. Well, you know what? A little bit can't hurt, right? sturdy as all get out. Door shut. Piece back in. Do I have any more cardstock to play without laying out? I do. We don't really need a bunch of cardstock. Let's get some coffee stirs, though. Let's do something with these coffee stirs. All I want to do is I want to come back here in a straightish line from the middle. I'm going to mount that on there like that. I'm going to let that cool for a minute. I'm going to do one from the edge here. I'm going to do one more from this edge. Okay. That makes the building a little more interesting. I'm going to snip these off. Boop. 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 All right. These walls are kind of boring. This one's got that radar thing that holds the up and downy thing that holds the door open. This one's really boring and plain. Let's add something to it. And I don't know what this is going to signify, but here is a hot glue lid. I need more glue. I don't feel confident with that amount of glue. I feel like it needs some more. Okay. Right around there like that. I'm going to shove this here, up and down. Then I'm going to snip this off. I'm going to glue that on. Right above it. Touching it as part of it. Maybe it is some kind of device. Who knows? I don't know. Alright, so we have this cool little door that I can take miniatures out of. I can access this from the back. We don't have any junk on our landscape. This is a cork. Okay. Oops. And I'm just adding junk, as one does. That's hot. That's hot. Something like this. This is a long build, I know. We'll paint it in another video. This is taking all day. I'm sorry. I didn't think it was going to be this long of a build. So there you go. Zoom this up. This is how big a mini is compared to it. When I come back, I'll have this all spray painted and we'll start pimping it out. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, and all that happy crappy that helps please the algorithm. The algorithm is this evil AI machine that is trying to stop me from taking over YouTube. Oh my God, we have granny grading here. Doom. Granny grading. Check out the Discord and the website. There's links to those in the description down there. There's also a discount code to get 25% off your first month of Dungeon Swag minis, which could be a cool thing for you if you're trying to get some. Hey, if not, we completely understand. No judgment. We've all been there. Not everybody has extra money for miniatures and stuff. I understand that. That's why I make a channel where I teach you how to make stuff for free and cheap. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.